All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Lal, and we're going to begin with our Fulton County State Court criminal misdemeanor calendar. This is what we call the Expedited Accusation Calendar, in which it's a list of misdemeanor cases which have been newly accused. One or more defendants have been admitted to the Fulton County Jail, upon which their cases have been accused and charges have been brought against them formally. When I call your name, please come forward and I will let you know what is your accusation number, who's going to be your appointed counsel, what are the charges brought against you, and also to set a bond if required. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, we will appoint an attorney from the Public Defender's Office or the Conflict Defense List to represent you. If you do have private counsel, please let us know when your case is called, or hopefully your attorney is on Zoom at the present time. Who's in courtroom 2 at the present time?
Good afternoon, Judge Lau. This is going to be position number 3, Ms. Bradley.
Okay. For those of you who are appearing via Zoom, please make sure that, remember, this is an open court proceeding, so I expect you to be acting and dressed accordingly. This is not an informal proceeding. So if you're smoking, eating, or driving, we will remove you from the Zoom. All right, so please be aware of that. And Deputy Francois, do we have any announcements at the present time?
I do, Judge Law. Do we have an interpreter for position number 2, Ms. Bain?
Okay.
Interpreter.
Anything else?
Also for
I think we need an interpreter for position 4 also.
No, Your Honor. Good afternoon. That is my client. I just didn't speak with them yet.
Okay. All right.
Yes, for position 4, they're actually at South Annex, so we're trying to get in contact with them.
All right. Will the host please remove Julian Lett from the Zoom? Remove Julian Lett from the Zoom. All right.
Also, Judge Law, my other announcements for position 14, they bonded out.
14 is released. All right.
Also,
Shaylin O'Brien. Okay.
yes.
All right.
For position 15, they waived their appearance.
Okay.
And that's it, Judge.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Atay, do you still need to speak to any of your clients?
No, I've spoken with all of them and I wanted to request a breakout room for position 10, Jules.
Okay, so position 10 we'll keep to the end for a breakout. And let me see. Okay, like I said, folks, if I see that you are, eating, drinking, smoking, or driving, I will have you removed from the Zoom. So let's begin with position number 3. And that is Nadija Bradley. Is that correct? Are you Nadija Bradley?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Bradley, your case number is 23 CR 7637G, in which you're accused of simple battery family violence. This is allegedly from a June 6, 2022 incident. And Ms. Bradley, your attorney is going to be Ms. Abden. Mr. Howard, any priors?
Third arrest, 2018 obstruction, disorderly conduct, NOLO, 2015 battery. I got a hold out of McDonough for theft by deception, level 2.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to the Martyr 5 Points located at 30 Alabama Street, where they spoke to the victim, Mr. Desmond Atwater. I believe that him and the defendant share a child together. They were there to exchange that child. At that time, a verbal disagreement occurred where the defendant attacked the victim, pushing him. The state is seeking a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with the victim, Desmond Atwater. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. We did reach out to the victim, but we were unable to make contact. So we are asking for a no contact order.
All right. Ms. Abden, is your client subject to a hold to be picked up, or is it something that she could go and address?
Your Honor, it's my understanding that she does have a hold, and I'm requesting a signature bond through the jail with a release to that hold.
Okay. On the but the problem is it's family violence, so that is a concern.
May I be heard further
Yes.
on bond? Thank you, Your Honor. So my client does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant, as this incident did allegedly occur in 2022, over a year ago. It's been a long time since then. She would not object to the stay away and a no further contact, Your Honor. She also is gainfully employed. She lives here in Georgia, strong ties to the community. She has 4 children.
Actually, I was going to ask, does she still share children with Mr. Atwater, and do they still do exchange transfers?
She does share children
Okay.
with him.
Yeah.
And it is my understanding that
I'll do a signature bond through the jail. It's
Thank
going
you.
to be a 2,500 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Desmond Atwater. She needs to maintain her current address with the court, and no illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Her next court date will be sent to her current mailing address. So please be sure that we have a current mailing address. Miss, is it Miss? I'm not sure who's my litigation manager today. Is it going to be? Who's is it Miss Grace?
Yes, ma'am, Miss
Yes,
Grace.
ma'am, it's me.
All right, Miss Grace. What is the next court date in any event for other cases?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. Just,
I didn't know whether it's December 14th or
yes, ma'am, December the 14th.
Okay, all right. Now, the December 14 date does not apply to Miss Bradley. Once she's released through a signature bond through the jail, this will be a release to the hold only. Okay. Her next court date for this case will be mailed to her current mailing address. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. And also, I'm just also requesting that position 16 be left to the end of the calendar and a breakout room.
Okay.
Thank you.
Position 24, Zimmerman.
Farah Zimmerman is accused of battery family violence from July 12, 2023. Her accusation is 23 CR 7633G. Ms. Zimmerman, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Atay. Any priors?
Second arrest, 2021, simple battery, family violence, level 1. That was out of Gwinnett.
All right. Mr. Pierre Thomas?
Got a brief facts of the case. It appears that the law enforcement responded to 2906 Tree Ridge Parkway and Alpharetta, which is 7 Pines apartment, in reference to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with the victim, who is Mr. Clifford, a traditional spelling Zimmerman. The victim told the officer that his daughter, the defendant, overturned a coffee table during a verbal dispute over the temperature of the apartment, and the coffee table struck his foot, resulting in a laceration and bleeding, which the officer was able to observe. Our office has been able to get in contact with the victim. She states that they do not live together. She said that the incident location was the residence. She stated that, one moment. She states that she is not in fear and wishes to have continued contact. I do believe she's on the call. I do believe he is on the call. The recommendation from the state is a $1,000 surety bond, no further violent contact with the victim, in this case, Mr. Zimmerman, stay away from the 2906 Tree Ridge Parkway, Alpharetta location, the completion of a family violence intervention program, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if we can sound from Mr. Zimmerman.
Mr. Clifford Zimmerman, I see that you're on Zoom. If you want to add to the proceedings, you'll need to unmute and start your video. All right, Ms. Atay?
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke with the Clifford Zimmerman also, and he really did wish to speak to the court, but if he's not able to, then there's nothing that we can do. My client is 28 years old. She is gainfully employed. She doesn't qualify for public defender services. She has graduated from high school. She cares.
Just one second. Will the host please remove Yolanda Brown from the Zoom, please? She's driving. Thank you. Okay, continue.
She cares for her boyfriend who is disabled. He has cerebral palsy. So I understand there's some history, and she denies the allegations. And after speaking with her father, it seems that it was a misunderstanding. I'm asking for a signature bond, and it's fine through pretrial, but I would ask for a signature bond today.
And I think Mr. Howard indicated that she's got an open case in Gwinnett County for a similar offense.
I'm not, honestly, Your Honor, I have a lot of clients today. I wasn't able to look into that.
Okay. I think that's what Mr. Howard said, Gwinnett, simple battery, Gwinnett. All right,
But
Clifford
I would
Zimmerman.
say if it's open, then, it's an open case.
Clifford Zimmerman. All right. Bond's going to be set at $1,500. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with Clifford Zimmerman, and to stay away from the entire 7 Pines apartment complex, including Clifford's apartment. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, and to attend and complete the 1-day anger awareness program with pretrial. Her next court date will be sent to her address. I have a Roswell Road in Marietta. Is that her correct address?
I believe so.
Ms. Zimmerman, is that where you live, in Roswell Road in Marietta?
Yes, ma'am. And I also wanted to add that the previous charges were no property.
Okay. That's why you got a signature bond through pretrial, but you cannot have any contact with Clifford, and to stay away from his apartment. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. You must report to pretrial once a month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 23, Ms. Woods.
Okay. State Mrs. Deshawn Woods is accused of battery, family violence, and cruelty in the 3rd degree from May 29th, 2023. The accusation is 23 CR 7632A. Ms. Woods, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is going to be Ms. Atay. And Mr. Howell?
23. Last arrest was 2022, probation. The only violent conviction I saw was a 05 assault conviction.
All right, thank you.
All right.
You know, brief facts of the cases that law enforcement responded to 1350 Mason Turner Road, Northwest in Atlanta, Georgia, which is a residence. In reference to a dispute call, upon arrival, the officer spoke with the victim, Mr. Titus Williams, Titus spelled Titus, who stated that he went to the location to see his child. It's juvenile, so we're going to refer to him as JM, who he shares with the defendant. The victim stated that he had JM on his lap in the car when he asked the defendant if he could take him for the night. The defendant told him no and tried to pull the child out of the car through the window. The victim stated that he was able to stop the defendant from doing so and told her to allow him to take the child out of the vehicle. Then the defendant grabbed him by his neck, causing visible scratches that the officer was able to observe. The victim then placed his son outside of the vehicle. The two argued for a while before leaving the area and calling the police. Our office was able to get in contact with the victim. He states that he is not in a relation. They are not in a relationship, and they do not live together. However, they do share that one child together. He confirmed the events in the warrant. He stated that he only wanted to make a report in the incident. He stated that this is the first time the defendant has been violent towards him, and there's been no incidences of violence in the past, and that he wants continued contact. I do believe that he is on the call, so if we could sound for him at the appropriate time. But the recommendation from the state, given the facts and everything, is a $1,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim in this case, the completion of a family violence intervention program, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, Mr. Titus Williams, if you want to address the court, you will need to start your video and make sure your audio is connected.
Yes, sir. It's connect. Yes, ma'am. It's connected. Your Honor, it's not
Can't
starting.
see you at all. Cannot see you at all.
It's not. Okay, there it is. Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand. Do you
Yes, ma'am.
solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to tell me about contact with Mr. Sean Woods?
Yes, ma'am. We only have bad contact. Is I she's feeling bad or something, and I never ever intended for her to get locked up, because I don't know who my son is. I know I've been looking for a week, and she's in jail. So it's a total big mistake on my part. I didn't mean to get her locked up. It's just a record so it would keep me out of trouble. Because, I mean, she stated that she was going to say something to the police about me messing with her, or hitting on her. And then, I never have ever. So to protect myself, I did make a report, ma'am. And it was totally in ignorance. And
are you telling me that the report is false?
No, man, the report is not false. I did get scratched. The officer said, a scratch. The officer said it's just a scratch. And I said, yes, sir, it's just a scratch. It didn't hurt me. And I just wanted to make a report of it so I wouldn't have to, get in trouble or anything. It's a true report, ma'am. It's just not, it wasn't significant of anything. And now, I'm in more, I'm in more distress right now. I'm working today, every day, but I'm in more distress right now because I don't even know who my son is. He's not with his mama. I don't know, I don't know what's going on. I've been looking for him for 4 days, man. And it's
thank you, Mr. Williams. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It was totally a mistake. I'm sorry.
You can mute your screen, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Tai, yes, your response?
Yes, Your Honor.
She's got a Cobb County hold, so.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is a 40-year-old mother of 4. She has children ages 9, 8, 3, and 1. She states that she completely denies the allegation. She states that the complaining witness is, claiming to be the father of this child, but someone else has signed all of these birth certificates. Someone else is the father. He has attempted to have a DNA test stating that he's the father, but it was 99% not his child. Of course, this isn't evidence, but this is the complaining witness has also called Department of Family and Child Services 39 times on her. So I would say that she has a lot to deal with all of these accusations from the Department of Family and Child Services. They arrive, take photos of the home. She invites them to kind of keep any problems from happening, but they keep happening because of the constant calls to Department of Family and Child Services from the complaining witness.
Okay, Ms. Atay, on the battery is going to be a $3,500 signature bond through the jail. On the cruelty is going to be a $1,500 signature bond through the jail. She has a $5,000 signature bond through the jail, but this will be a release to the Cobb County hold because she does have a hold. I guess she's got an open case in Cobb County, which she needs to resolve. No further contact with Mr. Titus Williams to stay away from wherever he's located, whether it's his home, place of employment, and so forth. Mr. Williams, Mr. Titus Williams.
Yes, ma'am, I'm back.
All right, listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. No, be quiet. Listen very carefully. Your child that you had with Miss Deshaun Woods, were you both married?
We were not married.
Okay,
We went
stop,
to everything and did everything.
Stop. Just say yes or no. Have you filed a legitimation action?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
When did you file it? When did you file it?
I did in 2019, 2020.
And
November
is there a court order establishing you as the father of the child?
I have DNA tests. The court order didn't go through because
very carefully. Is there a court order establishing you as the father of the child?
No, ma'am. They never.
All right, stop. It's just a yes or no. That's all I want to know. Okay.
All right.
Until you get that court order that says Titus Williams is the father of JM, until you get that court order, you have no rights over JM. You cannot have custody of him. You cannot keep him in your home. You have no rights to him. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor, can I say something?
No, I'm just letting you know that if you attempt to take the child without Miss Wood's permission, you could end up with criminal charges against you. Do you understand?
She gives me my child sometimes, ma'am.
If she does it with her permission, that's fine. But if she says no, you cannot go and pick up the child. Do you understand?
I understand that. I never have ever tried to do that. I've always worked. All thing I want to do is take care of my child, man.
Thank you.
And I can't get any help with taking care of my child.
That is Miss Wood's responsibility, not yours.
My son is suffering, ma'am. That's my son. It's these 99.99999s and an 8. My son, the same DNA test that they have at DFAC.
Please remove Mr. Williams from the Zoom. Thank you. Miss Woods, please remove. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Woods, you have a signature bond through the jail. You are going to be released to the Cobb County hold. Now, if you want Mr. Titus Williams to have temporary, that's up to you. That's up to you. But if there's a court order, then the matter is out of your hands. Do you understand?
Can I speak one second?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next, we're gonna go to position number 9, Ms. Howard.
This is State versus Jameria Howard, charged with simple assault, family violence from November 29th, 2023. And the case number is 23 CR 7620E. Miss Howard, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Miss Atay. Any priors?
Fourth arrest, Last arrest was back in April, simple battery. It's 23 CR 002-531E. 2022 theft by taking. 2022 simple assault, family violence, level 2.
What happened to that charge? I'm sorry.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not the simple assault.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up.
Okay. Mr. Walker? Oh, I'm sorry, you're on mute. Are you?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. So the simple battery case is still open. I'm not sure if you were asking about that charge.
Yes, I was.
Okay, yes, it's still open, is my understanding. And then in this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 2929 Briarwood Boulevard in East Point, where they spoke to the victim, Kayetta Martin, who advised that her and the defendant were engaged in a verbal disagreement. The defendant came at her with a long fork in a threatening manner. At that time, she called law enforcement. The state is asking for $1,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Kayetta Martin, and a stay away from the incident location. No weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And of course, we assign for the victim, Ms. Martin.
Kayetta Martin, if you're present, this will be a time to unmute and start your video. Kayetta Martin.
Your Honor, Kisharia, I think it's Kisharia Brown is also listed on the warrant, and I think she's here today.
Okay. I did notice there was a co-defendant. But is there Kayetta Martin? No. All right. Well, we're already into this case. So tell me about Miss Martin, Miss Ate.
Oh, well, Miss Martin is the complaining witness, but there's also on the warrant.
I'm sorry. Tell me about Miss Howard. I beg your pardon.
Oh, Miss Howard. Okay, Miss Howard is a young woman, 19 years old. She has lived in Georgia all her life. She has a newborn, a 3-month-old. She lives with that 3-month-old, of course, and her stepdad and her older brother. She would be fine with a stay away from the 2929 Briarwood. I understand there's an open case, but in this case, she's accused of approaching somebody with a long fork, and it's an apartment. The kitchen's right by the front door. She stated, and it's in the warrant, that she was cooking, and she was cooking using that fork, and went to the door. When I spoke with Kisharia Brown, who was listed as a witness on the warrant, she stated, and she's on the call, by the way, but she stated that there was no attack. And that there was no attack at all. And Miss Martin, the complaining witness, was also cited for disorderly conduct for putting a backpack outside. So I don't know if she's on the calendar today or what happened with that. But I don't think the facts support anything other than a signature bond in this case.
All right. I have 2 cases involving Miss Jamiria Howard. Is this one, 7620E. Then I have a 23 CR 002531E, in which she's accused of simple battery from April 24th, 2023. 2531E. 2531E. And then I have another case, which is 22 CR 002. I don't know whether. No, that was the other case. I don't know whether that was a mistake.
And Your Honor, I just want to state that she does have a 3-month-old child. Nevertheless, she's still enrolled in high school. She has finals coming up. She's, been very determined to get her GED. And she would like to get out of jail as soon as possible to not fall behind on her.
Well, I appreciate that, except that she's got 2 open cases in addition to this 3rd one. And I'm really trying to figure out why I can't open that case.
You can't open the 23 CR?
The 22 CR 005528E. State versus Jameria Howard, theft by taking from August 4th, 2023. And she was in a bond forfeiture status, which was set aside. Case was arraigned on July 31st, 2020. Okay. On the simple assault family violence, the bond's going to be set at $500. It is a surety bond. No further contact with the victim. Was it Kiona Martin?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. And I don't believe they reside together.
They don't.
Okay. So she can return to the location in question, but she's not to consume any illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. The next court date is December.
Well, the state was requesting a stay away because I believe it's the victim who stays there, Your Honor.
Kiona Martin, are you present? Kiona Martin, are you present? All right. Are you sure she lives there? I didn't see that. Or maybe I'm.
Let me go back.
There are a lot of cases, so I'm trying to remember everything, guys, but I'm gonna have to count on some of y'all for the memory.
Okay, I take that back. The defendant lives there.
Okay.
You're correct.
There's just no contact with Kiona Martin?
No, hold on. I'm looking at my notes. I have that incorrect. The victim lives there, the defendant does not. So that is the victim's address. So sorry.
The stay away from a 2929 Briarwood is fine.
Okay. Stay away from 2929 Briarwood Place. And I'm going to reset both the cases to the December 14th calendar, which is 23 CR 002531E, this present one, 7620E, and the older case, which is 22 CR 005528E. All three are going to be on the next SAP calendar on December 14th, unless she bonds out. Thank you.
Judge Law, quick question. For position 10, that needs a breakout? Is that correct?
Position 10, there was a request for a breakout. Yes, 10 and 16.
Raise your hand. Okay, thank you.
And Your Honor, I just got a call from the South Annex to interview position 4. So if I could just do that and not have my cases called. I just want to.
I'll let Deputy Francois plan that accordingly.
Thank you.
Is your Korean interpreter there, zooming in?
I think they're trying to figure that out, Your Honor.
Okay.
I did request it.
All right,
Thank
good
you.
luck. Yes, Miss Howard?
So you said that I have to stay here for 2 weeks and then bond out?
Your bond is $500. If you make bond, then you will be released. If you do not make bond, then we will see you on the 14th of December.
So I gotta pay the whole 500?
500, you can either pay it out of your own pocket or through a bonding company.
All right.
And Your Honor, I wanted the breakout room for Terry Jules. I think it was position.
Yeah, that was position 10, wasn't it? Or 16?
I think Jules, Jules.
Yeah, what position number was that? Oh, it's position 11, excuse me.
Sorry, 11.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, who's next in courtroom 2 for Miss Atei or?
Position 13, Moreland.
Okay. Do we have any private defense counsel on Zoom this afternoon? All right. Position 13 is Alfred Moreland, accused of battery, family violence, 2 counts, and 1 count of criminal trespass from November 1st, 2023. Mr. Moreland, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Miss Atei. Mr. Howard?
9th arrest on probation, Fayette County, obstruction or hindrance of firefighter by use of threats or violence. Got a 2015 ag assault, felony obstruction, fleeing. Those were convictions. 2012 fleeing, 2011 violation of protective order, level 2.
Brief facts of the cases that law enforcement responded to 5479 Glen Ridge Drive, Sandy Springs, which is the Stratford Apartments in Sandy Springs, in reference to domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the victim, Jasmine Ritchie spelled Richie, told the officer that the defendant, whom she shares 2 children with, attacked her. She explained that the defendant arrived at the apartment complex wanting to use her vehicle. However, he had a suspended license and was on probation. So for obvious reasons, she refused to let him take the keys. And as he attempted to take the keys and leave the location, she stood by the door to prevent him from doing so. At which point he put his hands around her neck and began to strangle her, picking her up by the throat, lifting her off the ground. While strangling her by the throat, she stated that she was hurting and it felt as if she was going to pass out. The defendant then left the location. Then left her to go and left the location. Let her go and left the location. He returned some hours later to retrieve his property. The victim refused to let him in. The defendant then kicked the door in at the property, damaging it, and received his property and left. The victim sustained several observable injuries to her arm as that resulted from the defendant's attack. Our office was able to get in contact with the victim in this case. The victim states that her and the defendant are not in a relationship. They do not live together. However, they share the two children. She stated that the incident location is her residence and the defendant does not live there. Of particular concern, she confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated that he strangled her to the point that she could not breathe and felt like she was going to pass out or die from the strangulation. The victim stated that this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards her. This is not even the first time that she's called the police. The victim stated that this is the first time the defendant has been arrested for violence. That this is the first time he's been arrested for violence against her. She states that she is in fear of the defendant for obvious reasons because of his unpredictable behavior, and she never knows how he's going to act at any given moment, and that she does not want to have contact with him and she wants him to stay away. She may be on the Zoom call, so if we could sound from Ms. Ritchie at the conclusion of the state's request. But the state is requesting a $10,000 surety bond, a stay away from that incident location. Again, that's 5479 Glen Ridge Drive, Sandy Springs in Fulton County. And no further contact, the completion of a family violence intervention program, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Nothing further from the state at this time.
Ms. Jasmine Ritchie, I see you on the Zoom. If you would like to say anything, you would need to unmute. Otherwise, you can remain silent. All right. Ms. Atay?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is a 33-year-old father of three. His children are 10, 4, and 1 year old. He does not live with the complaining witness. He is employed, but because of the children, he qualifies for public defender services. He denies the allegations. And so I'm asking for a signature bond, and it can be through pre-trial. He's fine with a stay away from the complaining witness and the incident location.
And Your Honor, if I can just let the court know that this case has been accepted by the DA's office.
Thank you. On each count of the battery domestic violence, that's going to be 7,500. On the criminal trespass is going to be 2,500. The total bond is going to be 17,500. It is a surety bond. No further contact with Miss Jasmine Ritchie to stay 500 yards away from 5479 Glenridge Drive in Sandy Springs. Mr. Moreland shall have no contact with Miss Ritchie and to stay 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner, including any calls from the jail. He's also not to have any contact with the two children that he shares with Miss Ritchie unless he files a separate legitimation action and gets a superior court order establishing paternity, visitation, and joint custody. His next court date is going to be December 14, subject to the case being transferred to the Superior Court, where the charges will be upgraded to aggravated assault strangulation. Thank you. Next case, please.
Position 11, Jules.
We're going to hold that off to the end. That's a breakout case, please. Thank you.
Position 22, Staples, Marquise.
This is State versus Marquis Jarrell Staples, case number 23 CR 007-630E. Mr. Marquis is accused of battery, family violence, and cruelty in the third degree from November 5th, 2023. Mr. Staples, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. Atay. Any priors, please?
Third arrest. He got arrested out of Alabama in 2019 for carrying concealed weapon. This is level 1.
Thank you.
Got a brief facts of the case is that the law enforcement responded to what looks like 183 Mount Zion Road, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia. That's the Avalon Ridge apartment homes. In reference to a dispute, upon arrival, the victim looks like Miss Kiera, Kierra Hughes, Hughes, told the police that she was sleeping in the bed with the defendant, who is her boyfriend, when he came in and started assault. I'm sorry, she was sleeping in the bed when the defendant, who is her boyfriend, came in and started assaulting her after going through her phone and finding things that he did not like. He then punched her several times with a closed fist, striking her about her face and body for what she felt was like hours. She sustained numerous injuries, several to her face and left eye, as well as a busted lip. She also had bruises throughout her body. The two share a 1-year-old child together. We're going to refer to him as KS, who was present and witnessed the incident. Our office has been able to get in contact with the victim. She advised that they are in a relationship. They live together at the incident location. They share that one child. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated that she left the residence after the incident, but does plan to return. She stated that this is the first time that he's been violent towards her. She stated that they have had contact since the incident. However, it's not been violent. I think she is on the call today, so if you could sign for her at the appropriate time. However, given the nature of everything, the state's going to request a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each charge, a stay away from the 183 Mount Zion Road, Southwest Atlanta location, no further contact with Ms. Hughes, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Mount Zion, okay. Ms. Hughes, I do see that you're on the Zoom. If you want to add to the proceedings, you would need to unmute and be placed under oath.
Yeah.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the information you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
I just wanted to say that that me and him, we live together. We raising our daughters together. And I'm not afraid of him or nothing like that. I don't feel that we need a protective order or anything like that. Because he need to get out. He got a job. We got to continue to take care of our baby. So I feel as though we don't need the order, but you know.
He needs to get out in order to maintain employment so that you can support your child. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Well, what if he's unemployed? Would you still want him back?
Yes.
Now, why would that be?
That's her father.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. You may mute your screen, Ms. Hughes.
Okay, sorry.
Anything else? I'm sorry, Ms. Atay?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 27 years old. He does share the child with the complaining witness. He does still have his job. He doesn't qualify for public defender services. He denies the allegations in the warrant, and he has no violent history, so I'm requesting a signature bond.
All right, thank you. On the battery domestic violence, that's going to be a $3,500 signature bond. The cruelty is going to be $1,500. The total bond is $5,000. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. The conditions of the signature bond: no further contact with Kierra Hughes. He's to stay 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. I'll allow for third-party transfer of the child that he shares with Ms. Hughes. In other words, a third party must be able to pick up and drop off the child without any contact between Mr. Staples and Ms. Hughes. He can return to the 180 Mount Zion location one time only with a police officer to retrieve his belongings, but he's not to stay there. So after that one-time visit, he's to stay away from 180 Mount Zion in Atlanta, Georgia. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. And while he is out on a signature bond, he will attend and complete a 24-week domestic violence program. Those classes must begin within 30 days of being released on bond. His next court date will be sent to his new address, so he is required to update the court with his new mailing address after he's released. Thank you.
Melissa, everything is level 1 unless the judge says otherwise. Just
Yeah.
FYI.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're done.
Thank you.
Judge,
They just said I can't go back to my own permission.
Judge, you have
Yes,
a
sir.
question, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you said I can't go back to 183. That's my apartment. She doesn't stay there.
I understood that she's returning to the location. And I understand from the warrant that she was living there at the time of the incident.
All right.
So, you are allowed a one-time visit with a police officer to retrieve your belongings. If she does
Your
not,
Honor, but if that's his apartment and I was living with him, I can just stay where I'm at. That's his apartment. I was living with him. I don't have to return back.
Ms. Hughes, are you planning to go back and live at 183 Mount Zion at apartment 4121?
No, ma'am.
Are you saying this under oath, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If Mr. Staples, on your one-time visit with the police officer, if the officer verifies that the place is not occupied by the victim and the child, then you may return to the location. Thank you.
Judge, I do notice Union City is on. They can go ahead and go next if they don't have oh, that's for Abden. I think they interviewed with Abden.
Officer Clifton Morris, are you at Union City?
Yes, I am, ma'am. I have
All
Mr.
right,
Courtney here.
Repeat the name again.
What's Courtney? First name?
C. Alexander.
Alexander Courtney.
Okay, I think council wanted a breakout with that, or are we good?
Yeah, she said give her a few minutes.
All right.
Your Honor, I'm ready. His mom's on the line, so she will be joining us to be a co-signer. He's 17.
Okay, are we ready to proceed with Mr. Courtney?
Just sending her the Zoom link. If I could just have 1 minute.
I'm just going to go through the preliminaries. Okay, this is case 23 CR 007-635G, State versus Alexander Courtney, charged with battery from November 29th, 2023. Mr. Courtney, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, Ms. Rachel Abden will be representing you. Mr. Howard, any priors on Mr. Alexander Courtney?
No.
All right. Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 16 Elizabeth Way. It is a business by the name of Pop Alley. They spoke to the owner/victim in this case, Alteric Anderson, who advised the defendant came into the location after hours. He explained to the defendant that the business was closed and asked him to leave. At that time, the defendant became violent and punched him in the face unprovoked. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, a stay away from the incident location, no contact with the victim, Mr. Anderson, a 2-day anger awareness program, and no weapons, drugs, and alcohol while out on bond. And of course, we would sign for the victim, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Was it Alteric?
Yeah, Anderson is the last.
Right. Don't hear a peep from anyone. All right. Ms. Abden, has your client's mother joined the Zoom?
I just sent her the link. I'm checking. I hope she did get it, but she did confirm that she would be able to be a co-signer, Your Honor, and he does reside with her.
What's her name?
Her name is Kathy Jones.
K-A or C-A?
I'm not sure. I guess maybe he can tell us.
All right. With regards to Mr. Alexander Courtney's bond, it's going to be set at 3,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. I will need his mother. Mr. Howard, the name will be Kathy Jones. It may begin with a C, it may begin with a K. All right, I can't imagine any other spelling for the word Jones. But she will need to co-sign the bond. Mr. Courtney, you are to stay 200 yards away from the business at 16 Elizabeth Way in Atlanta, Pop Alley. You are to have no contact with Altric Anderson. You have to stay 200 yards away from him and not communicate with him in any way, form, or manner. You're also subject to a curfew. You are to be home by 6 p.m. and you cannot leave until 7 a.m.
I have basketball practice at
You're on. Please.
He'll just, and what days are basketball practice?
every day.
And what time do they conclude?
They start at 5:30 most days and end at like 7:30.
Your curfew begins at 8 p.m. and you're not to leave the premises until 7 a.m. 8 p.m. to 7 a.m.
And Your Honor, in addition
Wait,
to
what about
the basketball practice, he also works at Five Guys. So the latest he works is 11. And it sounds like he does make good money, Your Honor. I know that he's still in school, and I would ask that he be allowed to still do that. And
That's fine. As long as you'll give me these details, that's fine. So it'll be from midnight to 7 a.m. He's subject to a curfew. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. And if he gets arrested again for anything else, this signature bond will be revoked and he would need to pay for his bond the next time. Thank you.
thank you.
Position 5, Doc.
Excuse me, Judge, can we get the mother's name? Because it has to go in the order.
It's Kathy Jones. I don't know if it begins with a C or a K.
Is this the
And
guy?
Francois, can we just take one of Hoda's cases next so I can just call the mom, let her know, and get the spelling, please?
This Doc. This the guy you want me to do?
Yes, what was your contact?
Y'all switch up.
I'll send it to you.
Contact with Altric Anderson.
Oh.
And stay away from, I think the business is called Pop Alley.
Cool.
And I think he was sounding out that his mother's name was spelled with a C. I think that's what I heard, but
I think, yeah, it's with a C. So Kathy Jones with a C. Thank you. All right, Officer Morris, do you have another case for us?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. Courtroom 2, who do we have, please?
This is
I didn't hear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we have the alarm going on.
Yeah, Doc.
Position 5, Doc.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. This is Andre Lamar Doc, accused of loitering and prowling and willful obstruction of an officer from November 30th, 2023, accusation 23 CR 76368. Mr. Doc, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Atay.
Oh, Your Honor, I don't
It's me,
have-
Your Honor. Sorry.
All right, Ms. Abden and Mr. Howard.
36 total. On probation for burglary. 17 SC 152514. They gave him 7 years probation in 2018. Got an opening burglary in the second degree. 23 SC 190730. Couple of probation violations from this year. On probation, 2020 criminal damage to property until 2025.
That's good. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Walker?
Yes, in this case, law enforcement was dispatched to Georgia Power located at 890 Ponce de Leon in regards to a larceny in progress call. Upon arriving at the location, the defendant was found hiding behind a Georgia Power truck. The officer went to make contact with the defendant. The defendant did give flight. The state is asking for $1,000, signature bond through the jail on each count, no contact of 890 Ponce de Leon, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
890 Ponce de Leon. Okay.
Yes, it's Georgia Power.
And he's got an open burglary case and he's on probation for burglary and he was allegedly involved in a larceny and the state's recommending a signature bond. All right, just putting it out there. Thank you. Ms. Abden?
Thank you, Your Honor. I do understand he does have some concerning criminal history, but I am requesting that you take the state's recommendation. After speaking with him and without going too much into the facts, it sounds like this was a misunderstanding. He was crossing through to get to the Beltline, Your Honor. He didn't have any intent of, trespassing or anything like that. As such, he does deny the allegations. He's 57. He's lived in Georgia his whole life. He actually lives with his cousin and he has a lot of family here in Georgia. He graduated from high school, served in the Navy, and was honorably discharged. He recently got laid off. He has a thyroid condition, Your Honor, which left him very sick, so he's not able to work. I am asking that you take that into consideration when setting bond today. Setting a bond would be like no bond at all, and he's assured me that he will come back to court and he does qualify for public defender services. So again, I'm requesting that you take the state's recommendation for a signature bond through the jail.
All right. On the willful obstruction is going to be 500. On the loitering and prowling is going to be 500. That's $1,000 surety bond. To stay away from the incident location at 890 Ponce de Leon Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, and to not consume any illegal drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Unfortunately, I cannot in all good conscience grant a signature bond. He's got probation violations from his burglary case. He's got an open burglary case. And the allegation is that he was apparently hanging out in that location at midnight for no rhyme or reason. Signature bonds denied. Thank you. Next court date is going to be December 14th.
Position 20, Shelton.
Brittany Shelton is accused of theft by taking from October 15th, 2023. Her accusation number is 23CR7631C. Ms. Shelton, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be, who is her counsel? Ms. Atay, Ms. Abden?
Yes, it's
Okay.
me, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You
Mr.
ready?
Hunt, any prize?
17 total. Got a Bartow County probation for theft by receiving. Last arrest was 2020, probation out of Gwinnett. Given false name conviction. 2018 escape conviction. 2018 probation. 2017 theft by receiving conviction. Failure to appear bail jumping conviction. And some more shoplifting convictions.
All right. Mr. Peter Jones?
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that law enforcement responded to 5855 State Bridge Road in Johns Creek, which is the Jersey Mike location, in reference to a theft by taking. Upon arrival, the officer met with the district manager, Christian Lemon, who stated that he reached out to the store manager, who is actually the defendant, in regards to missing funds from the register, because the register had actually come up $66 short on that particular day. Mr. Lemon checked the deposits and compared them, and it showed that they have been that should have been from the sales, and discovered that the deposits on, looks like October 15, 2023 to October 17th and in 2023 were never completed. When the defendant arrived at the location, Mr. Lemon asked for the money envelope, which the defendant delivered. However, the envelope did not contain deposited funds for those specified dates. When asked about the missing funds, the defendant left the location and did not return. The defendant had access to the store's safe and was the only one that gained access to the closed out store's cash drawer each night. Mr. Lemon stated that the following funds were missing, and he does wish to prosecute and press charges. It appears to be $538 that was missing on October 15, $162.86. I'm sorry, $500.38 was missing on October 15th. $162.86 was missing on October 16th, and $116.52 was missing on the 17th, in addition to the $66 that was missing on that date. Your Honor, the state's request is actually going, well, before I do that, I would like to point out, I do believe that there's an open case.
There is, yes.
Yeah. The state will request a signature bond through the pretrial services, but leave it to the complete discretion of the court. Obviously, a stay away from that incident location and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Mr. Tay?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 31 years old. She has 2 children, ages 10 and 8. She does not qualify for public defender services. At the time of the alleged incident, she was working at Jersey Mike's, and she has also been working at Maggiano's as a sous chef for the last 3 years. She denies the allegations in the warrant. She states that she did not close on the days that are listed in the warrant, and that, other employees closed on those nights. She states that the district manager simply accuses whoever is the manager of the store. So she's the manager of the store. So she was accused, for the missing money. But she does deny the allegations. And I'm asking for a signature bond through the jail.
Given the nature of the current Superior Court charges and the similarity of the victims and the location, the bond's going to be set at $2,000 surety bond to stay away from the Jersey Mike's location. I believe it's 5855, was it State Bridge Road?
Yes.
All right, and no contact with Christian Lemon. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and next court date will be December 14th.
Position 6, Fields.
Was that 14, Francois?
This is position 6, Fields.
6, excuse me, okay. This is Shalisha Fields, case 23 CR 7639H. Mr. Fields is charged with willful obstruction of an officer from November 30th, 2023. I'm sorry, I can't tell by the Zoom. Is it Miss Fields?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Miss Fields, you have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Miss Abden. Mr. Walker? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was still muted. 1 second. Law enforcement was dispatched. Well, actually, I think this happened at the police station, but it occurred at 39 Hill Street. It says that the defendant came there to pick up a firearm that was in custody. Upon running her name, she came back as a wanted person. When she realized she had an open warrant, the defendant gave flight, and she was eventually apprehended by officers. The state is seeking for a signature bond through the jail. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond.
Okay. And does she have that hold?
Let me check that, Your Honor.
I did see a hold, Your Honor.
Okay. And it was to whom?
It's out of Snellville.
Okay. This is going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail with the release to the Snellville hold. Ms. Fields, please understand this is also an open active case in Fulton County against you. So once you resolve the Snellville hold, make sure you keep up with the activity and the summons in this case. Thank you.
I just want to make sure that everyone has my updated addresses because that's what's going on with me missing these with this FTA now in Gwinnett. I believe that they don't have my updated addresses.
I have 421 Boulevard, 205.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Judge Jesse. Have a good day.
Position 21, Staples, Anton.
This is the other Staples. Okay. Anton Jabel Staples is charged with battery, family violence, and cruelty in the 3rd degree from September 6, 2023. So Staples, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. Atay. And any priors, Mr. Howard?
Seventh arrest. Got an open case out of Fulton, 23 SC 185763. 2 counts of aggravated assault, strangulation, possession of a firearm, cruelty in the third, trespass, damage to property. 2022 probation and the 2011 robbery conviction. This is level 3.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that law enforcement responded to a fight at 960 Constitution Road, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia. That is the Constitution Apartments. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with the victim, Shantae Powell. Shantae spelled Shantae, Powell, Powell. She stated that the defendant, to whom she shares 2 children with, came into her bedroom when she was sleeping and began to argue with her about the baby crying because he had to work the next day and couldn't sleep. An argument ensued. The defendant then pulled her from the bed into the closet area where he placed his hands around her neck and strangled her. The incident took place in the presence of the 2 victims, the 2 minor children. We will refer to them as AS and NP. Who witnessed their mother being attacked by the defendant. The officer observed visible marks around the victim's neck and saw that her shirt was torn. She also had bruises on her face and lip. The victim had then positively ID'd the defendant with his driver's license photo. Our office was able to get in contact with the victim, who stated that they are in a relationship. They do not live together, however, and they share the 2 children. The victim denied that the defendant strangled her. The victim stated that nothing like this had ever happened before. The victim and the defendant, however, have the open aggravated assault strangulation case 23 SC 185763, where the defendant is currently out on a $20,000 bond order to have no contact with her. The victim stated that she does not fear the defendant and that she continues to want to have contact. If we could sound for her at the conclusion of the state's request, that'd be greatly appreciated. I think in this instance, it'd be appropriate for the state to request at least a $5,000 surety bond to $2,500 on each charge. Stay away from that incident location. Obviously, no further contact with Ms. Powell, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and the completion of a family violence intervention program.
Miss Shantae Powell, if you want to add to these proceedings, you would need to unmute and start your video. Otherwise, we'll move on to the defense counsel. I see a lot of fans circling. I don't know whose those are. Shantae Powell. All right.
I do believe she stated she did not wish to participate. I meant to say that.
Okay, understood. Ms. Atay?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Powell did tell me that she wants me to let you know that she's on the Zoom, but it's freezing, that she's not afraid of my client, and they do have 2 children together. I also want to state for this one, and possibly if we can revisit Marquise Staples, that actually they state that they were arrested the day before Thanksgiving, so 9 days ago. So I do want to raise a Riverside issue there. I wasn't able to find anything, but Ms. Powell also did tell me that they were arrested in Atlanta the day before Thanksgiving.
All right. I don't have anything to that effect. I just have a bookend date at Fulton County. So do y'all have anything to that effect?
I'm looking into it right now, Your Honor, but it appears that at least for Anton, that would have been Atlanta and not a subsequent arresting agency. But I'm looking into it right now, Your Honor.
Yeah, and I didn't find any other warrants for either of them. So it was apparently a seatbelt violation for the driver, and then the other brother picked up just with the warrant that we have here. But I didn't see any other warrants. I don't see any other reason why they would have been in jail since the day before Thanksgiving. So I do want to state that it's a Riverside issue, so I'm going to ask for a signature on bond for both of them.
for both of them?
Through the jail. I'm sorry, because I should have raised it earlier for Marquise Staples, position 22. I mean, he got a signature bond through pretrial, but I believe it should be a signature bond through the jail because of the time that they've been in custody.
Okay.
Okay, and we're just taking the word of the defendant. I'm not saying it's true or it's not true, but there's no documentation. So obviously the state would take issue with that.
That's an issue itself, that there's no documentation, but it's not
Well,
just.
I mean, if you find it, then we'll be glad to review it, but it's not my job to do yours.
Well, I'm not telling you that it's your job to do my job, but I'm telling you. It's
Okay, guys. All right. That was the end of the wonderful debate. Thank you. So he was booked in on November 30th at Fulton County Wright Street Jail. He's been in custody for 2 days. Let me see.
I did also ask Miss Powell, and she did state that they were both arrested while driving together the day before Thanksgiving.
Well, I understand that. I totally understand that. I'm not saying Miss Powell is lying. I just don't have that
Well,
information.
yeah, so Miss Powell.
Let me see. City of Atlanta. We have a City of Atlanta police report from September 6th. Presently on the battery family violence is going to be a $2,500 surety bond. On the cruelty matter is going to be a $2,500 surety bond. This is a $5,000 surety bond. And if Miss Atay, you get information with regards to the fact that he was already in custody at least 7 days prior to being booked into the Fulton County Jail, then definitely, would that make it 7 days? Let me see, December 1st. So if you're saying on the Thanksgiving, which would have been 21st, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 9 days before being booked at the Fulton County Jail, then definitely the bond should be amended to a signature bond through the jail. My other concern is that Mr. Anton Staples is in violation of his bond order in 23 SC 185763. So that's a matter that has to be addressed with Judge Cox, who's got the trial in that matter. And furthermore, I don't know if the state is planning to upgrade this charge to a felony charge based on the allegations set forth by Mr. Pierre Thomas. So that's the present bond in this case, is a $5,000 surety. Next court date is going to be December 14th.
And Your Honor, I just looked up on the City of Atlanta website, at least for Antoine Staples, he has another open case. It says from 11/24, says false representation to police. So that might have something to do with the time he spent at Atlanta Detention Center.
All right. So if you all have information of when he was booked in the City of Atlanta and whether he was transferred from City of Atlanta to Fulton County, that's a different story.
Exactly.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm on C tomorrow as well. If I'm able to find any information, would you be able to reconsider tomorrow?
Oh, you can definitely let Judge Williams or Judge Mincy know.
Thank you.
Okay, I just asked that I'm CC'd in case.
Absolutely, you will be.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, moving on. Next case.
Judge,
Yes, Mr. Staples.
Hey, Judge. I was in the Atlanta City Jail ever since the day before Thanksgiving. There I was there.
And your attorney is going to verify that, and we'll address that tomorrow.
Okay, and you said my bond is 5,000.
5,000 surety, no contact with Shantae Powell. Unfortunately, if you were arrested with Miss Powell at City of Atlanta, then you are in violation of your bond order in your felony case.
No, I wasn't arrested with her. I was arrested with my brother.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Judge Law, any updates on position 2 for the interpreter case?
That would be the Korean interpreter case, Ms. Abdon. Are you ready to address that case?
I have not heard about the Korean interpreter, Your Honor. I've sent all the necessary emails, so I think we're just waiting.
Miss Cook is holding. She's trying to get a Korean interpreter at this time. She just
All right.
asked that the court hold.
Okay, thank you. Next case, please.
Thank you. Position 12, let
12. Okay. I have State versus Julian Lett, charged with simple battery, 23 CR 7634J from November 30th, 2023. Mr. Lett, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Miss Abden.
19 total. 2021 simple battery dismissed out of the cab. I didn't see any violent convictions in this history. Jail was a recommendation.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 483 Lucky Street, where they spoke to the victim, Rashad Chambers. He and the defendant were engaged in a verbal altercation when the defendant struck him with an iron. The state is asking for $1,000 surety bond, no contact with Rashad Chambers, and stay away from the incident location, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Rashad Chambers, okay. I don't see a Chambers on Zoom. I have a couple of people. I have a Julian Lett who's present. I don't know who that is. Is that Julian Lett Senior?
Yes, I believe so, Your Honor.
Mr. Lett, did you want to add to the proceedings? And then you would need to, the gentleman seated in the car.
Okay, it's my understanding the victim is a minor, so his mother is on the call, Your Honor, on his behalf.
Is there
Hello.
anyone here for Julian Lett?
Yes, she's right here. There you go, Mom. Say hello. Hello.
Yes, hello. I am looking at the ceiling right now, so I'm not sure who I'm addressing.
This is Mother.
Okay, hello. My name is Judge Lal. Did you want to address the court?
Yes.
Okay, please raise your right hand.
Hey, no, raise your right hand. Right hand. And she's gonna tell you.
All right. Who is speaking, please? Put your hand down.
Hi, I'm the sister. She has basically a disability. So she
All right.
yeah.
Would you like to speak on her behalf?
Yes, I will. Yes.
All right. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the information you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the young man in the courtroom is your brother?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
and what
ma'am.
would you like to tell me?
I didn't witness it. I was in the room. I have a child. Basically, so they was fighting really all day. And that's when they kept basically provoking each other, antagonizing each other. You know, brothers fight. And then that's when my mama came running in my room because I ignored the situation. And basically, I guess a bruise was on my little brother, Rashad Chambers. He's 15, on his head. And that's when she proceeded and called the police. And she was like, basically, because my brother's a minor and my big brother, he's old enough. So she said she got scared and called the police. I tried to prevent her from calling the police, but she said she was frightened and she was tired of them fighting because they've been fighting all week. And she was tired of it. And that's when the police got called and the police was here. That's all I know, honestly.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Julian Lett, the one seated in the car, did you want to contribute?
Yes, I will.
You need to raise your right hand.
Wave my right hand. Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the information you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, yes.
And I'm assuming you are the father?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I got called. I didn't make it there on time, but what I wanted to state is that I'm moving Jalen away from their house. I'm taking them with me, so he would not be involved. He would not have contact with Rashad.
And where would he be moving to?
To my house, 8403 Creek Ridge Circle, Riverdale, Georgia, 30296.
All right. Thank you very much. That's all I needed from you. Thank you. Ms. Abden?
Thank you, Your Honor. I missed the state's recommendation. If you don't mind, just tell me what it was.
$1,000 surety bond.
Okay. So Your Honor, my client's 23 years old. He firmly denies the allegations as stated in the warrant. It's my understanding that, as you've seen, his mom is disabled. She has epilepsy. He tells me that he spends most of his time taking care of her, and he, takes her to the store, gives her medicine, and that his younger siblings do not assist. And that is what the argument was about. As you've heard from Mr. Lett Sr. My client is going to be living with him moving forward. So he has no issue with a stay away and a no further contact. And also he was born in Georgia, has lived here his whole life. It's his first day of work on Monday, Your Honor. He passed the drug screening, background check, all that. And he's really concerned that he won't be able to start work. So I am requesting that Your Honor consider a signature bond through the jail or pretrial services if Your Honor is inclined, whatever level of reporting would be appropriate. And I do just want to object to the testimony of the sister. I did not catch her name, as she did not have any personal knowledge. She was not there. She even stated she did not have personal knowledge. I understand she was helping her mother out, but I am objecting to the testimony.
Now, Mr. Walker, when you say an iron, are we talking about a thing that you used to press clothes with?
Yes, that's my understanding, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Julian Lett, the individual in courtroom 2, your bond is going to be set at $2,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. And I need your father, Julian Lett, to come to court, to come to the pretrial office with a government issue ID to co-sign the bond.
So, is that on Peach Street, ma'am?
You can call
To the
me.
court.
You'll get the information.
I'll send it
Okay.
to you. If you could just, I'll put my number in the chat. You can call me.
Okay, thank you.
Julian Lett, the one who's in jail, is not to return to 483 Lucky Street in Northwest Atlanta and to have no further contact with Rashad Chambers. He may return one time only with a police officer to retrieve his personal belongings. That visit cannot exceed 1 hour. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. And you will update the court with your new mailing address in Riverdale, Georgia, within 30 days of being released. Once you are released on a signature bond through pretrial, you will report to pretrial once a month. You will complete the 1-day anger awareness program with pretrial services. And you cannot afford to get arrested again or violate any of the conditions of the bond. Otherwise, you will lose the signature bond and one would have to pay for your bond the next time.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I put the address in the chat for him if he can read it.
Let me try to find it. Okay.
Yeah, I also put my phone number in there for you.
All right, Mr. Lett, please
Okay.
mute your screen. Courtroom 2, who do we have?
Position 1, Arnold.
This is State versus Jamal Akeem Arnold, accused of hit and run, failure of the driver to stop or return to the scene of the accident, and driving while license suspended or revoked from October 2nd, 2023. Mr. Arnold, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Abden. Any priors, Mr.
28 total. Last arrest was November 21st, suspended license. He got a couple of suspended license arrests from this year.
From this year? Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 1678 Howell Mill Road, where they spoke to the victim, Lebrel Woods, who advised that he was struck by the defendant, and the defendant did get out the car and give flight. Upon investigation, the defendant was determined to be at fault and the driver of vehicle 1. The state is asking for $1,000 surety bond on each count, no driving without a valid license, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, and of course, no contact with Lebrel Woods.
Ms. Abden?
Thank you, Your Honor. And this is position 1, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. My client is 34 years old. He is from Georgia. He does live with his grandma in the area. He has a lot of family here, so he does have strong ties to the community. He has 4 daughters. They're all minors, Your Honor. He does have a newborn. She's 2 months old. her mother is not around, so he is the only one to take care of her. And there is his grandma does help, but he is the primary breadwinner. He's not. He recently did lose his job as of recently, and I have already connected him with a social worker to assist him with that so he can provide for his children. And he has a medical condition, Your Honor. He has iron in both of his legs. So when it starts raining, his leg swells up so bad he has to go to the hospital. This happens really often. He had a surgery planned 6 days ago. And he tells me he's been in jail for the past 14 days on this. Now, I was not able to confirm that. I did try to. And so I understand if we can't, treat this as a Riverside issue. But, I do ask Your Honor to take that into consideration. He's someone who, would benefit from being at home and going to his doctor and getting that surgery done. And so I do understand he has a criminal history, Your Honor. He does deny the allegations. And the recommendation is a level 3 pretrial services bond. So we would not object to that.
Right. On the hit and run is 500. On driving while license suspended or revoked is 1,000. It's a 1,500 surety bond, subject to the defense providing information that he was already incarcerated at least 7 days prior to this incident. No driving unless he's got a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration. Thank you.
Position 8, Gresham.
Oh, next court date is December 14th. What was that? Russia?
Position 8, Russia.
Okay.
You got it.
Marion Gresham is 23 CR 7621F, accused of criminal trespass from November 30th, 2023. Mr. Gresham, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Abden. Any priors?
Yeah, I counted like 102.
Right.
You got 102 as well. I
Any
want to say
open cases from this year?
I don't know about open, but well, yeah, let's do it. I got a false report. You're on probation for that out of state court. 23 CR 006 182F. Got put on probation for that in October. Last arrest was November 9th. That was a trespass conviction out of Clayton County. Was arrested in September and October for trespass.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant was arrested at 5 Points MARTA Station. He was criminally trespassed from that location, and he was saw there drinking a beer. From there, he was taken into custody. The state is asking for a signature bond through the jail and stay away from all MARTA, as he's already suspended.
All right. It's a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Mr. Gresham, you are not allowed on any MARTA property, including buses, trains, the stations, the sidewalks, the bathrooms, and so forth. This is an open, active case. Please be sure to keep up with your attorney and make sure we have a good mailing address to send you a notice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Position 7, Fisher.
This is Johnny Fisher is case 23 CR 7618J, accused of criminal trespass from November 30th, 2023. And so you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Abden. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
20 total. 2016, 18, and 11 parole violations. 2011 burglary, possession of tools conviction. This is level 3.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched at 702 Lakeshore Circle. Apparently, earlier in the day, he was advised to leave that location. He was criminally trespassed. He was later arrested that same day at that location. The state is seeking a signature bond through the jail with a stay away from 702 Lakeshore Circle. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out bond.
What type of business is that or location?
Your Honor, it's a recovery space, and he used to work there, he no longer works there. And I just want to state for the record, the warrant affidavit says that there is an open case. I wasn't able to find it via the number, and I wasn't able to find any open case of criminal trespass on Odyssey, so.
Okay. It's $1,000 signature bond through the jail. And he, as long as he gives us a good mailing address, we'll be able to send him his notices for his next court date. He obviously has to stay away from that center at 702 Lakeshore Circle. If he returns to that location, he will be arrested again and most likely denied a signature bond. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The rest of the cases, Judge, are breakout cases.
Okay.
10, 16 through 19, and also position 11.
All right, let's do 16 through 19, which was, I believe, was that Mr. Sample?
This is Mr. Sample, position 16 through 19.
All right. Mr. Sample, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 cases. And I'm going to have Mr. Sample in the breakout along with Mr. Pierre Thomas, Ms. Abden, and Ms. Grace.
And Your Honor, I would need to be included
Oh,
also.
Mr. Walker, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
It's the first arrest.
All right.
It's It's Ms. Champion?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Champion, I didn't make myself co-host, so can you let me and Mr. Emmett Tucker into the breakout room?
Okay. You can just rejoin.
This is Emmett Tucker. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Tucker, I'm about to put you in the breakout room. Just accept the request.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. This is State versus Christopher Lee Samples. He's got 4 cases, 23 CR 7625Y with 1 misdemeanor offense, 7626Y with 1 misdemeanor offense, simple battery, 7627Y with 1 misdemeanor offense, and 7628Y with 1 misdemeanor offense. Mr. Samples, you're represented by counsel, Ms. Rachel Abden, and based upon our sidebar, I'm going to grant a signature bond under the following conditions. If you violate the conditions to your bond, then the state is authorized to have you rearrested and brought back to jail on either a no bond status, a surety bond, or a cash bond. Do you understand, sir? The conditions to your bond is that you are to have no contact with Emmett Tucker. You are to stay 200 yards away from Mr. Tucker. You're not to communicate with him in any way, form, or manner, including in person, through a third party, through a phone, a computer, or even on social media. If you are seen anywhere near him or you attempt to communicate with him, even through a third party, Mr. Tucker is authorized to report you to the authorities and have you arrested for violation of the no contact order. You are to stay away from the Cheesecake Factory restaurants in Fulton County, Georgia. You're not permitted to be in any of the Cheesecake Factory restaurants located in Fulton County, Georgia. You are also to report to pretrial once a month, and you are to maintain a current mailing address with the court at all times. You're not to consume any illegal drugs, and you're not to own any weapons or any firearms. Your next court date will be sent to your current mailing address, so make sure that we have your correct mailing address. That, I believe, concludes the case. Your total bond, is $3,500 on each count, so it'll be a total of 15,000 signature bonds with pretrial. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I would like to go back to position 21 and 22. I was able to call ACDC and confirm that they were both booked in on November 22nd.
Okay, let me get back to my new cases first, and then I'll address your cases. All right. Let's see now. What was the other one that we had to do a breakout? Was it Jules?
Position 10, Johnson. Position 11, Jules.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I misstated position 10. I don't need a breakout for position 10.
All right.
It's position 11.
All right. So Kiara Capri Johnson, is that person available?
Yes.
Okay. This is State versus Kiara Capri Johnson, 23 CR 7638A, accused of battery, family violence. Miss Johnson, is that Miss Johnson? I can't.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Miss Johnson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Miss Ataye.
Second arrest, 2021 marijuana possession.
All right, thank you. Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 64 Leather Circle, where they met with the victim, Tyrell Billups. He met with the victim, Tyrell Billups, who advised that his stepdaughter, who is the defendant, struck him with a staple gun. The state is asking for $1,000 surety, no contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And we will sign for the victim, Mr. Tyrell Billups.
Mr. Billups?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you'll need your video on in order to address the court if you want to do so.
I'm trying to. Yes.
Will the host please prompt him to start? Okay, I think that's him. Are you Mr. Billups?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can put your hand down. And do you have any comment about staying away or having contact with Kiara Johnson?
No, man, it's okay. What happened was very messed up, and I just want everything to be resolved the best way as possible, and you know, that'd probably be the best thing to do. Keep her have her stay away.
And do you both live in the same place?
Yes, ma'am. I've been living there for 2 years because I watch it. I take care of my kids. I got 3 children. My baby mom, she have 6. Her last 3 is from me. You know what I'm saying? And Kiara is one of them. You know what I'm saying? And she's in Vermont doing the CNA contract stuff or whatever. And,
I'm
so
sorry. I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're saying. Do you
no,
live
that's what I'm saying.
with Kiara Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
At
we
what
ain't-
address?
Excuse me?
At what address?
64 Leather Circle.
Okay. And are you on the lease or do you own the property?
No, ma'am. But I
Who's
pay
on the
rent
lease?
through, excuse me?
Who is on the lease?
Carmelita Roberts.
Okay, so you are not on the lease.
No, ma'am. But I pay rent through Carmelita Roberts.
Who is Carmelita Roberts?
That's my baby mom's, the mother of my children.
Okay, yes, just a second. All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Yes, Mr. Tay?
Sorry, Your Honor. Carmelita is the mother of Kiara Johnson, who owns the home or is on the lease. And I believe that she's on the call and would let Your Honor know that he has not lived there for 2 years and is not supposed to be living there at all.
All right, Carmelita Roberts, if you are present, this would be a good time to start your video and unmute.
I don't know how to do that.
Well, that would be problematic.
This host.
All right, with the host, please prompt.
Hi.
Hello, and what's your name?
Hi.
Please?
My name is Carmelita Mead.
And you need to stop walking and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. And who is Tyrell Billups?
He's the father of my children.
So he is, okay. And is Miss Johnson one of his children?
No.
And is Miss Johnson your daughter?
Yes.
And where are you calling from?
I'm right now in Pennsylvania, but I work in Vermont.
So you don't live in Atlanta, Georgia?
I do live in Atlanta. I just travel for work.
I see. And I guess Miss Kiara Johnson lives there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And how is Mr. Billups has testified that he's been living there for 2 years?
Tyrell has been at my house on and off. He's been in my life for a very long time. And he's been helping out with the children. So right now, and I understand what I need to do is to, I guess, file for an eviction because he has been there assisting and helping out. But it's a very big inconvenience because Kiara lives there as well.
And Kiara is now arrested with a misdemeanor charge.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
I would like for my daughter to be released and be able to go back to her home if she can. If not, I will be in Atlanta this week.
Not with Mr. Billups living there.
No, Mr. Billups, I'm going to do the proper things that I need to do to get him removed from my property.
All right. But in the meantime, Miss Johnson will need to somewhere else to live.
Yes, and right now I'm if she's not allowed to go back there through you today, I'm going to arrange for her and my 17-year-old to possibly have some place to stay for a week until I get home. I talked to the courts already and they told me what I needed to do to get him removed from the house.
Miss Mead,
Yes,
Miss
ma'am.
Johnson cannot live in the house until Mr. Billups either is removed by court order or voluntarily vacates.
Absolutely, I understand that.
It doesn't take a week. It takes much longer than that.
Well, I'm just going to have to pay for them to stay somewhere else. I know that she can't go back to the house. I actually already even removed my son from the house.
I just wanted to make sure that you had a clear understanding of what's going on. Thank you.
I do.
All right. On the battery family violence, it's going to
Your
be,
Honor, I do have something to say for my client.
I was going to set a signature bond through pretrial.
Okay, that's
And
fine.
she can, but as you've already heard her mother, she's going to be living somewhere else until Mr. Billups either voluntarily vacates the premises or is evicted.
So I just want Your Honor to know that that Kiara was caring for the 3 children the majority of the time. So
Yes,
they may also have to leave the home.
I am.
And my client also states that
Just a minute. Remove Mr. Billups from the Zoom. I don't need him to show the children on a criminal calendar. That was very inappropriate. All right. Mr. Teddy, what
I just also wanted to state that my client denies the allegations. He states that the complaining witness choked her and she, in defending herself, struck him with a toy. She doesn't know exactly what it was, but it would have been something plastic. She states that, and they're in what I read, that there were other incidents where the police were called earlier that day. She stated that he beats those 3 sisters, the 14, 11, and 7-year-old, like they're men. And that he made this, she was defending, and the 17-year-old has left the home too for defending those 3 girls who he physically abuses.
Miss Atay,
Can I speak again?
No, I'm
sorry.
not about to get into a dispute of the alleged facts. All I know right now is Kiara Johnson has been arrested. I'm granting her a signature bond through the pretrial. And if there are any threats to the minor children in the household, Miss Mead needs to come home and take care of business in that household.
Thank you, Your Honor.
On the battery matter, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. Ms. Johnson, you can sign up for the bond. However, unfortunately, you cannot stay at the home in question, which is the Leathers Avenue. You may return there one time only with a police officer to remove your belongings. And then within 30 days of being released on a signature bond, you must update the court with your new address. You have to have no contact with Tyrell Billups. You have to stay away from the Leather Circle location. Remember, you can only return to that location if there's a court order that allows you to go back. You are not to consume any illegal drugs and not own any weapons or any firearms. Your next court date will be sent to your new address. Thank you.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I did want to ask, because I wasn't really clear what you were saying. Am I allowed to sign, am I allowed to do the signature bond and get released tonight, or am I?
You have a signature bond, you sign up for it, and it will be released within 24 hours.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Position 11, Jules.
Okay. And is that the breakout?
Yes.
All right. This is Terry Jules, and case number is 23 CR 7619G. I can stop the live stream and the recording if that is satisfactory, or at least just the live stream.
Okay.